a very short one. But if it is not very much audible, I think I'm talking from my computer. So if it is not very audible, I could just shift it to my phone. If the volume is not really good, just let me know. But if you can hear me well, thank you. So just a very quick one. You know, it's very baffling. You know, I'm quite stressed out. I got a little headache, but you know, min kumada drum wala kumada. Anko. Adam barola man sakunda. Aliye Kemo Fatty muta. Aliya sorong. Aliye tajidinte yakala. Wa aliye mingo minke, that does not in any way change anything. Follow. You know, dunia mu falin suladi. When has it become a crime to walk in the streets of the Gambia? Kato atol ta fono lako na kemo muta nyindali le karlela o ay nyinku karle ke minni silo manta. You meet somebody walking in the streets, you just arrest them like that. That's how you people operate in this country. Almandanka wandi denano buntia gasola. But if you mol mimbe tamakan silo kalkali or fanambe arrest, your motive will not work, because the more you arrest, the more people will come out and the more people will show their dissatisfaction to this disgusting regime. Oman sila lajan. Albe bataraya minna mulla bango ka wala be danna. Albe tilimbaliani intajidintiani mulla bedanta na fulo min sunyala. Albe wala danna. But before we got to that, let's first look at the court case today. Ning ayatara ko atol ko nyim fonding kele kule ke minni silo ni sarto manta. And then in your document you put their procession. Where were they? Where was the procession? There was no procession. So on what basis would you actually take these people to Mile 2? Thomas Fauture. Bro. Yalo min fa nara nyim ko from Bediani. Thomas is my very good colleague and friend back then. And probably still. And then the police prosecutor Almami Manga, who came to the court, is my very close personal friend that everybody knows. Moro, mfutara tembo to mi alonko momonta ni moteri aji bela jande. Batara yala bedanda nyimbanko kan wala nganyo tembo fo nganyo ngatonya ko ende nyola. Because I do not understand a case that is happening in Carnifing. Some of you who actually work in Banjul, ita kamune si wodo. Moro, dandula ke fangola. Ifang horama ye dandula ke fangola. Dunia hadama dung efang horoma edan dulaki efangala. Bare nyinno molti min yalon ko tilimbali yanin tajidinte ya ko don sembentu ya fendem fo natara betul nim palaso tema drajar te ko bela. Ngo, when has it become a crime to walk in the streets of the Gambia? Atol criminal ol mimbe molla banko na fulo sunyala luwolo alko moto fola nimin yo fatol yo arrest fatol lom jumalti. That you would deny Kemo his God-giving right to walk in the streets of the Gambia, and then you arrested him. Kemo is not just arrested, he's abducted by this regime. And as we speak, he's probably at the police headquarters, because I'll be boring they can blab beto. Go. Nalma hanyal wala tandi, because there is nothing that you people will go. Dolen fi am dam. Tonya talbulu tapale mulla malti, because Allah masa kundaka balu tapalian in tilimbali Allah. What the Gambian kolle be findla katandala ko enough is enough of this rubbish that is happening in our country. Because the fact of the matter is that if you have the guts and the audacity and of course the evil intent in you to actually throw tear gas on a little baby, a toddler, alman balafa wale hani sila kan dani lal min yalon ko miskino alman balafa wale ka tear gas o fay wale kan fal fangol kan morum alko wale chika alko wale borende ni wandi dingo fata la bulal salon ko ale denani denani tawara wala fajane mo man fem fali alko ale continue wasi falla janka wandi mol bon tear gas wala. Imagine throwing tear gas at people as if you are actually spraying pest, when your regime is the pest regime bent on dishonesty and of course public sector theft. Mo man silal la jang along desan jam fole ko dol no karo Kemo arresta dami ne marandol dol bet lokko mo manala. And this is what we want to inculcate in the minds of the people that understand what's going on in the Gambia. For the other people that are telling you got to go back and re-strategize, what are you going to re-strategize? What exactly do you need? If Kemo Saibu and all other people are arrested, what are you waiting for? What have they done wrong? Why must you wait back in cowardice to say that, you know what, I'm going to be a self-protectionist? No. That is betrayal to the cause of justice and making sure that there is proper accountability in our country. So one thing, Kumati, Como minti wala jang nyim masakunda kurungolati masakunda tajidin telom and masakunda la mi yalan ko is bent on fabrication, lies and deceit. Oto Gambian ko be ni adal police ol min yalan ko katol use in this kind of things. Fe matol la mol fa jang fo bi mo malo min wala fa. Anda ko tatol ni tabela ko min ye fa bal fon la kono ge because that was a job done within. Kemo's entire problem was the question couple of weeks ago to ask police all fata janne camera ko kuta keri nyumban ko molbe be derin ko itol malon ko seno bojan ni amin bojaman police all fa. It's not about his trekking from Westfield going to Banjul. It's about a motive that the regime harbored in them, but we are not free. We are not going to freeze. Don't nga kula ke jang in the former regime tambiro kata mon ke pakela pegol be wudu ka be fay jana momon kuno odo sokomo to walk in the streets. Go. Muntumalong, it became a crime in the Gambia to walk in the streets. That somebody could just walk out there and then arrest you because mungsembola bala tear gas wala babul. Al uniform wurale lo jana nale pata fa insal ju fara foti loy boy. Moma sila mola jang kotenk. And no moment more respect la jang. But you look at the kind of magistrates in the system. And me yalon ko kuno ine mene kara school ni wal jibe wal ntem buke la buketi wali biko. These are the kind of people that will do anything and everything for a regime, because if you know them, you know how you actually deal with them. The magistrate furing ita may bulubani maraboni nonyo da bada nyimo si fallo min yalon ko masakunda ka balu nyimo si falla la purika tajirinti yanin tilimbal yanin kuriya tilingambian kolula. Oto momenta sila la jang annun ko matata nyun ko don ko. Imagine you are actually fighting to defend the interests of a few people because what? They are building houses for the president. They are part of the president's campaign. There are people who are giving money to the president. Because I do not understand. If the citizenry came out to say what? Data is expensive in this country and we want Pura to, regulate it. And if people are selling their data at a cheaper rate, what is Pura's business in making sure that you tell them to sell it to a higher rate to the citizens, when you should be working to make sure that citizens have things affordably? Affordability should be a priority for the government, but not the otherwise. Again, alban in Tilimbalian in Tajintia Sifa Betilina Gambian Kola Mota Femfola. Fondingele fundikata ndalla ko dere da ko yatala ndalbe ni minna tensilo nin to nyante alko hani moto fola jandata kumala jam. Batara ya Sifa lawodi. Data kumala mfawala banko kan ngo. If you want to turn this government into screwdrivers, or you want to screw everybody, we will unscrew ourselves, because we will not watch any government screw this nation anymore. Alman sada dani lal to silokam, alman dena nol ni bal to silokam, alman ke barangol to silokam, atolo mammo to silokam, atole momo je dronka tilimbalian en tajidin tiata ndila soko sar. Sarete to man dia ko jamalan. But me, I don't get into personalities. But if he puts us, we will get to that level. Mo kurumbala miri tapale bala miri ite mo daji kanta mbalet. Ela daji kanta ya Gambia bele wolong. Ela kuo fonga ninge jube ngaje somo ndabe tambi kan saibo la feke daking te ela kuo fonga kanta nyambule ite manke mo kende ite mo jaw balti. Why ken ragalu len fide? Do len yakar lo len yakar. Hey. Police dranedi. Akende mala be jela jaw mala be jel sar ñol ba disgusting li ngol la kon mo jaw ba mo kurumba daji kantam ba eta Gambia training school ite daji ko mo minti fan odo ite mo nyanta nyambule talal mo kende jiko tela. So ite la Kemo Fatty RSOB is actually emboldens and strengthens people that, of course, there is a cost that people are on, and it's the right thing to make sure that there is accountability in this country. And nobody will freeze over that, even if you bring health on earth. Nobody will freeze over that. I'll say along. Ngo mansa killing the man buka dunia bang. Gambia man kaltate Gambia man donu lenko. Gambia dusen alali bayi. We all, this country belongs to all of us. It's not your biological inheritance to think that you can just jump and tell people, arrest this guy, arrest this guy, arrest this guy. Nobody's going to speak. Who the hell are you? To think that you could just come out and say, oh no, just arresting people because they told you that we are lawfully, standing here. Because you said, oh no, you are illegally standing here, and they told you, oh, we are legal, and then you said, no, arrest them for telling you they are legal. Sorry, I can make and do what you. Yo, Gambia. Was that your personal property that the people were on? In public streets, you want to tell people that they cannot walk in the streets of our own country? Are you going to cage us in our own country? Go. Even in your household, if you don't want people there, you ask them to leave, but you don't treat them like animals. You don't start spraying them like mosquitoes. So nyinna mkuti mi yala ka ganna mulla banko kan alman ta continue la nyin tajidin tiyan ntin mbal yala mulla banko kan oto funding kelo mbal sembentu yala mbe lori ngal fey kato ngalo yala nte, you know, I'm not even going to stress myself out, because knowing Kemo, knowing the person that I dealt with for several years, and knowing what we could do together, what we have done together, being in police custody for some hours or for whatever, is nothing that will shake anybody. Aliya Samba police headquarters, Aliya Samba wherever, go. Aliya Samba bambadinka ni wala diatali. Bara woman yindi amo bande. And womatin nang kali nyin kami nang nyin ka walad. There are several things that this government must be held accountable for, and that includes the killing of the cops. Now, but what includes all these monopolies that your government is masterminding. Alia monopolized to ensure that only your funders, the people who are actually giving money to NPP, are the ones selling it at exorbitant prices to Gambians. So the consumers suffer, when the government's responsibility to make sure that goods are affordable for Gambians. But nyimasa kunda mantra doko ke kan Gambian kole, nyimasa kunda ka doko ke, you know, mini alon ko lebe business wala andu wala ke la kodo dundi to la politiko kono pour que Gambian kole foire yandi ka foire ya nyorin kam isaje mo beke, you know, bulu kono modi mo beke tumaranke dim fangol la banko ka isaje mo beke delade ka do mo to fenso to lebe mi fola niatra ebe fenso to leba fola wata balu wala fama be bulu. You know, Jammeh, you would say, was killing us, but this government is imposing and injecting hunger and starvation on Gambians, making sure that affordability of food is just nothing that anybody can think of in that country, let alone data and internet. So, nim mole finti de ko ke la balamba tandi ko data da ko le atala moni ati natol be wol arrest la. For police wala to data mi sa ni mol ka mi say fatatale. You are not working on orders or whatsoever. Albert Tilimbalian in Tajidin Tiala, because your IGP is just a brother-in-law to the president. Who cares? Allah sakunda ka boring yung body yana, so everything has now turned into kisumam bokala. Wala tina ka bring na molje ko ka that other guy ka fanya di la fango that you know sekumbala le pen sekumbala man kuma kurum fajande mimbe kering sekumbala wala fo ngo membe masakunda we wala fo sa ni mo mi yalon ko anyanta masakunda sutura la findi taka masakunda lankena mamona ita wo fono la kafo ko hey no he's this and that. He's not this and that. He is actually putting the plain truth before us. This regime is the most disgusting regime that ever existed in this Gambia, built on lies, deception and manipulation. So what a Gambian call, we got to put aside all these differences and realize that the common, you know, issue here is the regime that is not fit for purpose. Our collective action problem is the regime that is in place, that is injecting hunger on Gambians, that is imposing hardship on Gambians, that is increasing inequality on Gambians. Then hey Gambia, they violent health. Nobody is even willing to borrow them money. And what are they doing? They are busy now selling and mortgaging our state enterprises. Alko mota femfola na bankoka. Alko ale mobe tumaranke and ale mole beke dopal, ale mole beke munti. Mosquito just to be throwing spray at them. Nko yaga diga rek moy mujé nal man karam kunun nal tal karana bila iko sama ka sanne bar nal ma sambi den kay moro e tumaranke ma satana lorin sama alon sar mo be de hawla bi fentem fo la tilimbal yani la hormanta ya, because itama hormanta ya tilim fondinkel damala. Even your own subordinates, you had no respect for your own police officers, because nite hormoni, you know, bunyaso do la police monyole nite nada ya waltara in public. The only way to address them is to call them to the side, and then niatare yaje ko ekula ke minni silo manta ya fo woto. But in the midst of the civilian population, you are screaming and yelling and telling rubbish to your own colleagues or probably subordinates. How do you expect the civilian population to respect those people? But that tells a lot about your lack of professionalism and integrity. Bo ato dalta munala mo bute ni mo tilimbali ya moro ya kejana fa to poto juoto itabeta la sar itentem fendi na manke mo kurmo ni mo tilimbalo ni mo hadama din tajire nte ya ko do ite wala long. So womu kulete mi ya long ko and when I see people saying, oh, you are becoming famous, you are not becoming famous. You got to distinguish the difference between being famous and being notorious. You are notorious, you are known for bad, you are known for evil. I just want evil soul out there. ken ragalu la fi de chotto xonam comme abe bu ka fodro ite police uniform mo be si so warale tan dem buke la buke na manke mo kurungo ni mo tilimbaloti mo la banko kal ko mo da fem flawta moro abe fola la biya abe fola la soma abe fola la sending na man la fi wala albo mo la man sakunda palaso dalta si alla suwol kono nobody would say anything, but so long you take responsibility to actually lead our country, we will have a say in it, because you cannot cage us because you don't own us, and it is our country, it is our collective responsibility to ensure that there is accountability in this government, and nobody will stop that. No amount of intimidation, arrest and detention will stop that, because people will continue to speak in the country and outside of the country. Obe continue what a baila Khadija, you gotta shut up. Go watch your TV, please. Come on, come on, come on. You gotta go. Come on, get this. Okay, you don't want it? All right. But I bet I'll do. Any other one la molla Banjul. Yamwe. Tata sijan. Atolo nyinga America dino la to dimbali akasia. Yo. Give me the remote. Okay, bring the remote. Where's the remote? Jaja. Bring the remote. No? Where's the remote? Go bring the remote. Oh, he's over there. Yeah. Okay, now go. Go, 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 go. Sorry about that. So kumimbelari wo nyama itako mota femfola. Fundingel, imagine you arrested some people simply for telling you that no, we are legal and we are lawful. Ite will arrest walla. Just telling you the word we are legal and we are lawful. Now you arrested Kemo Fatty and his entire group for what? They are walking on the streets going to Banjul. When has walking in the streets going to Banjul become a crime in this country? Wait for them to commit a crime before you arrest them. But walking in the streets has never been a crime in this country. Nalman tara tajirinti yan tilimbali ala jay dole di jay ñi ne yena am nguur lu len neex lu ngeen di doxale suñu nguur mané du fi dox mënu len dara ci Kemo anjakol kay ñaadi ndaysan o barama yela waytu feto komal. What can really the proboscis of a mosquito do to the back of an elephant? Absolutely nothing. Because people are conscious of the law and they know what they are doing, but they will never allow anybody to subjugate our people. You can go aleta ale dontoro ke dunia la be de falota dontoro ke no la kotenke asai molla state enterprise so al se be waf wali be mortgage the ports, you know, with all these enterprises gamtel albe mini wafu ko and ngula ko dama ali molla banko be wafu ka diata la nyami, just like you wanted to sell the monkey park at the market valued price. Adam baro la mansa kundabe bolaje momo be na gambia mansa yala mo ite be tora sifa fa kele ne te mira la ka to nyine dontoro minke ya jammening wala jati sanyi mo ni jawara la sanyi tansa ba ye be la nyoka e ma Go, look at what the IMF and the World Bank is telling this regime. And all of it, you will not see the development and of course the human development and of course the infrastructural development that tallies all this borrowing that this government is doing. Kamola kodo be batara sunya ka diate to le nyami ko mota fem follow. You are busy protecting business interests of persons who are very connected to the regime. But alman la fi banko moli fensoto because atol man banko molo hati atol min hati wallo nyim business partners who are actually injecting their money into your NPP, and that includes some of those owners of these GSM operators. We know them. That includes some of these people mining sand all over because wala ati nale sala ji chika kata wafu mo kota ngolea wala kata di mo kota ngolala. So, if all of these things are happening in our country, our state resources are mortgaged, our state enterprises are mortgaged, you've taken loans and of course, you've borrowed until nobody wants to borrow you. That anywhere Gambia is mentioned, molka murunko malika he alala hakilo to bankodo. Fentem fo barola faham balia nala nyaton kalia no balia aning London tayami mbani masakunda aning tilimbalia aning tajidinti aning sunyaro membeje kato sungo lalabu ko sorong. Moja le sunyaro ke dala mansa kunda ko ne buka ba atalo ka sungol bala le jamol min lote ka kayto doronda mutay mam bere fay imam tilimbali atilim mola imam fen foka ko ko data da ko liata la ko jibe. When has that become a crime in our country? This is the democracy that you've been talking about. This is the new Gambia that you've been talking about. But I often tell people that the new Gambia lies in its vagueness because it has no specific direction and definition, because this is a regime built on lies and deception. And of course, ethnic, rhetorics and tilimbalia. So what Alkana Fenke Jangabuko, people are afraid of SAR. SAR is nothing but just an ordinary idiot like any other person. But a word of caution to Thomas. The prosecutors and of course the judge, these are folks that I have a very good relation with. Actually, literally my boys. But in Brother Temple to me, I don't come moment I would give a jet. Mafo Kwalkana la do coke. But a Tilimbalia Nalkalbo Tilina Banco Mola Moro, and you Jacarlo, Naklunye Wahante, New Hante, Naba Kuntula Dama Kundu, what a moment more worry jang. Tonyadro nebe tamala jande. Adamala mansa kunda mantara silokang, a mantara tonya kan kado funding kill the Findika Boko Metama can to go to Banjul. When has that become a crime in our country? Mfindida Nkonga Kaito da Manamuda Kavoko, Alimbala le data da Kwaliata Pura, Ali Nimin Fotengani Silo Nisato Manta. Because Pura, what is the point? If the government's responsibility is to ensure that there is affordability for your citizenry, why are you imposing tariffs that are going to actually cause unaffordability to your citizenry? Ali wala ke jale mburo dala fa ke kendo be mburo wafu kan dala sitan na birka maltata arrest. Ngo, mene ke la fengol dal dal ko da akol arrest, mene ke fengol dal la fadol ka bulo ko si wala sarol be masa kunda ron kan jumalle. Do ba dingol bam fatol fangol kadatol be you have free internet. You don't buy internet. Your offices don't buy internet. Masakunda la kodo do bal la kodo nkal nga taxi mini jo alko wala dundala internet do be je fon ika dundali ala falla sul fon kono masakunda ka mini be jo atol be chapuri mansa kunda bula ale molla banko ke mole ale mol jutundi Gambia la ale Gambia ke banku furi mbare dunia be kono fentem fu mansa kunda tilimbalo ni tajirintel min beje ale molla security Italia be di Senegal la mi yalon ko even our intelligence is in the hands of the Senegalese forces. Gambia tumaranke yada dunia kono fentem fu mansa kunda mi yalon ko amam fahama man dunia kala ngolong aman dunia samba nyalon alko funding kel to fala ara funding kel alsa ku kel londe kabirin jawara kana mansi ala funding ke malom ya ben ala funding ke malom asake nyindo kay malo wodnata je nyaadi la bara botom kay o kedan tolbe mistake colt bara naltata dunia dula kotengol to minika wuli ka je ko ila bankole falling for the right reasons are the young people. So be part of that history. Be part of the history that made that will be recalled, that there were young people who stood vehemently to condemn corruption and corrupt malpractices in the regime of Adama Barrow. Ko itolia ajela ko itolise dobaya itolise la kasokono itolise bata itolise konko barakaje ko Gambian ko le ko bonyim bata kono Adama Barrow la masa kunda kamilla fonnin kele kanka milla banko mol kan ka mama re ngol mutaka ka tiaga so fayka ka denanol ta ka tiaga so fayka ka corruption no ke fo mol la dinding ta wora wala be fa jangal ko modaw muna nal amolo mutamin yo kali wala aresali ali sorom. Why is that court case still delaying in court when you've killed over 70 babies out of your negligence and of course corruption and malpractices in government? You killed 3 people in Farababanda. Why didn't you put those paramilitaries in prison for murder? But a funding kill minifinte kaito da mamuda kavoko data da koliata ratol kali ol mutali ol kenyadi ali ol sorom batarayan in Tilimbalia kono Thomas Fauture yo itaman la fena focus ita ko ita lebe wodi decision nota la ka ko ita ka funding kel so ita wol soro mun dalil ka ngamra police la fon findi tay ko wol mane ne la pour ye belta ne atar atol ya lon ko wole kule ke minni silo ni sadro manta. Why are you proposing bail to them? Why are you even giving them bail? Because you know that you are not on the right course. Albe Tilimbalian in tajidinte ala tilinkan Gambian kolla, but a Gambian kolla batandi la ko whoever want to screw us, we will unscrew ourselves. Batara yabe dannale Tilimbali yabe dannale danna tambo mambete ya. Marabiolo kononsa ko indalla ko Kemo Fatty is just one person that you cannot intimidate. That's a strong soul, stronger than all the evil empires in government, stronger than the entire police prosecution and its evil personalities, stronger than all your mercenary judges and all your disgusting, folks that are within the judiciary. Tilimbaliani sunyaro mi from the judiciary. Wait for audit reports to come out about those people. Wala from Korea from hani nasu from Korea. I sit. I'll go molto ofala. Batteria mi bendo lama sakunda dan dulale bola mi alon ko alko molto ofala. Or you think you can intimidate and harass people and of course arrest them and put them behind bars? That will not stop anything, because the conversation continues, and of course we will continue to educate Gambians about the ills and of course the malpractices within this government, so that people understand ko mboka carte faye moy danko don pour moy sije bare kan na banko na fulo tamani nyame e kam baram e ka barako wol min ken na banko kan mi yalon ko to la baro jama bebe ja be mo batarolati ollon kulte min nyanta danna oto badingol mbe nyanta wala lonna ko. This is our collective responsibility. It has nothing to do with partisan politics. It's our collective responsibility to account our government. It is our responsibility to ensure that young people are free and of course treated fairly in that country, and to tell people that, oh yeah, young people need to be giving a seat. No, young people do not need to be giving a seat. You got to go and demand those seats because they belong to you. At the end of the day, you are the kingmaker, so make yourselves the kings. Because continuing to vote for people who do not care about your welfare, whose ill intention are always about coming after you, to jail you, to incarcerate you, to subject you to abject poverty, and of course to reduce you to nothing than just people who actually look for jobs, eat from them. But all of oh, young people need to be giving their seat. Nobody is going to give you. Moro. Because they think government is their biological inheritance. Molmini alon ko masakunda doku of masai ka ke bata trade let. Ntemu director to jana ndingota nge dingota. Bata yala tambira wala. So what a funding kele minibe Gambia wala nyanda wala kaje ko Masakunda Mantrantola collective interest Jibekan. They are not working in the collective good of our country. They are not improving, the living standards of the people. Of course, poverty is increasing, and of course, inequality is increasing. The rich is getting richer, the poor is getting poorer, and the so-called rich are exploiting this regime to the best of their abilities to ensure that they continue to milk the ordinary Gambian. Oto doba dingolal wul. Enkelo mumbela tati. No. And then we always have this phobia towards elitism. But that's not even the point. Jame is from a very poor family. Sadauda Jawara is from a very poor family. Anambaro tanto fono la fam. But in doba dingol kamuru neka tilimbalian intajirinti tandi banko moleka amra ko kunun kuni to nyina tela kunun nal. But abola nyama fuaro la kamawo nyama. Para min kumada wala nyinde ko hadama de wasa balole be wanyama ni malla ala tumaranke manya la famode daji kanta yala mode kato hadama de mimbi ni bi ko nyin senen de ko kudo wala nyinte ko ite malla hani ala fangola. So mol mimbe wanyama wala manke molti min yalon ko e jarta fenna dunya kon. So I don't intend to stay too long here. As of now, we know Kemo Fatty is at the police headquarters. Take him wherever you want. Do whatever you want to do with him. We are not threatened by any act of the police. And for the folks in the prosecution and the judges, Moro, if you want us to talk, we will talk, and we will not consider any personal relationships. I'll turn your time and they will battle today. Or you hold back and allow other people to deal with things, because you cannot all be friends and be the prosecutor and of course be the judge. Batara ya ota continue la jande. Ata continue no la jang. Some of you, we are the ones na duda ndola ka fendikal defend jang to the letter, but abe danna la de. Albe batara ya la tulaje. Almo to je nkay moro. Nalbe nyo jela nyimbanko kan jande. Fotata tembol to mi yalan ko mo manta mo nyako na jibe la jande. To nyamo kilimeke. Anan dunia ko fula harama no nyanta wala lonna balulu ngo jonte sala bala salu ngo fana jonte balula. If you have those beliefs and you have faith in your Almighty God, there is nothing that you will actually hold back on. There is nothing that you will fear. Go, ika ke baya nyame ka malla da mandika kodo tije. Bara manke siloti de. Mo man sila mola jande. albeti ngo nin to nyala tamani la no fondin kel dum wala kan e man kuma fo e man ku ke mi yalon kan sirto silo ni sartol manta albeti limbal yani jaay dole do na nin ka ko ka diatan tolle sembo ben tolle bulu min diata nyam bola kala yalon adama la ko non jankitri yes jotna ko kabiri wo botala e tilimbal yake wala ka ko mo ma fo ko boto ko liata adama ita man ko boto la ko yalon folo ngata fa jannin 2026 wala ita balon na lako nka han ko pano fo wala ko liata a boto fo ngata jannita ko nyum itenin tolo ma janjun jam folo de nim banko manke tati nim banko manke la keta fendi mo man sile la jam mo man sile la masa kundala mo man sila police la jam albetu ngola tamandi la mo sila da tilimo do na la de tonya nimbe tonya tan o kan sa sila wala bare mo min be tonya kam mo man ta sila la wala jam ila masa kunda man tra tonya ka ila masa kunda man tra silo kam ila masa kunda kurungola tamanke masa kunda tilindindi ila masa kunda kulon police la fato nyim banko kan janne bara o police kilin wala ko wala USB ka tiaga so findine ka fay mol ka wala fanan fe to la darajo ni la nyaro tabo wala to bara al salon ko masa kilin jamane ta dunia banna anu adama jamane be banna la tol dol be jennal be janjun na janne be nyonya ko no jibe la nyim banko kan janne oto badi ngola ya muta dami ngala muta oto kado to nyam wolati adama de woni be to nyaka lo akam ani be fala ka ye fa kan kado wala jartala I better die with dignity than die in lies and deception. Who want to live in a country mi alon ko to nyata no la ka baraje wata kela nyim banko wal balo ndila silo la kan sini wala sina waye ken ragalu len fide ngajela min keda Senegal fondin kel da wulta ka balamba tan ni ko man sakunda la kuriyani tapale yaay dang poto man sa ni tanji tansi day bo mo leje aka foko ite be fang that self perpetuation and of course imposing yourself on people ali nyi nek jam molla electoral laws ali be falinke murundi ko yaaya jam jamanu abe nu nyami ngamana to ko yaaya mambete ya say munati nato le molla electoral laws brought them back to the ones that existed during the Jammeh regime. That is all to self perpetuate, to make sure that 1 million ninku ko tangal kado Gambian o jama bale fuar ya nyore go welcome walta so do nola purato dam mali taraje to shrinking the political space so that you can actually have an easy ride. This is the way they steal elections, because atol kamina elections sunya wala nyinde ko yede la karteta ya la do e jan hani wonten kaluwala dunde min yalan ko tapalyanen tilimbalianen tajinti yalan pour que tol fongola self perpetuation interest serve and not to serve the common interest of the Gambian. So ñun lam kulti Gambian ko ñanta ka wuli min la ka kele kabirim bi kado adam baro la masa kundale luwal falling ke murundi yaaje melo luwal to tol ko min mu luwa kurungol tino ka je kon na election on ku ko tongol ya commence a sunyala kabirim bi ka be luwal le dund la mi yalan ko luwa kurungol lam. So what adama kelo mo bile tamanke so mati. Don't wait until it's all over and then you begin to say that, you know what, oh no, we're going to, no. Electoral reforms is why Solo Sandeng died. If Adama had, even a, stint of love for that guy, he will not actually, kind of take us back to that Jammeh era electoral laws again. But you know why they did that? Because to shrinking the political space so that he can self-perpetuate. Because third term is nothing that Gambians would actually take lightly. Adam Barrow. Nila man sakunda ba janjun nalan tolu dolu ngatan dila lo kombela man sakunda kelala with everything and anything that we have to ensure that there is no third term for this disgusting regime of theft and corruption. Your regime is characterized by massive corruption. But ito wala mutala yes bara afanya niya may wala mutala ita fangala daman tala li dumbo kono. Kariya jamala property do be fangol le walta. Anybody ngol ni dendan na mol. Oratol be mana fonu la mole man sakunda min kan ni so wafu dala si keme konontola onyom batara man sakunda la be keden dunia dula alko moto fala alla national assembly wole si ya ko to le luwal le dune momo e tol nengi se soron baratol police wol min ka mol nengal ka mol bal neng fatal la fisiatan tolti alko moto fala atole dindin tawra wala faaja alko moto fala ale mo saba fa fara baaja alko moto fala ale police fula faaja alko moto fala ale data dal la fa mon molka ale mano da ko lendi molka ale tulo da ko lendi molka ale balwo ko lendi molka hani simento fa mol buka so donal ko moto fala mol be findi la ka ko data da ko liata ko ale wol be arrest albe Gambia bele arrest la bare mba folale ndal fona ale wol karade bare ba wal man dal karade min bentom be o folale so also kalam taje. And to conclude, Sar ite ya hakiloto. Nite o ma janjum folo ni ma commencé ko sa janjum. Anatol prosecutor ni moko damal. Moro, no lon kunda konto nyinen kate wotode. Al se wala. Ko nga fala nyamin drum. alo ko ni nyama to juken sen beta mala marché ko na abuka malala nyama ti yana la juken sen tamola bara badi mo malo ko dara wala nyato albe batara ya min imban ko kal mantra kalam ta kam bara nal badi mo sita alla ko ke mal al wajibe so ngal tento ngal jay, you know, Kemo, you gotta be on good spirit, bro, you know. For some reason, I don't know, I missed a couple of your calls, but maybe tomorrow, another day, you gotta watch this, but it's a million je wala nyinto ko. Tolo bal feel it be. Ko akeda feel ko mbi o muro kono le mbi arrest. That's just how it feels. But stay strong, man. With the rest of the folks, you love and appreciate whatever you people are doing. You're not cowards. You are folks who are patriotic and you love this country beyond those who are arresting you. Otolumbe sila nyimbanko be falina landa be lola tonya kana ntonya be tamala la ndo balbe la nyanto soto la nyimbanko kan. Kaje ko fuar yaay ka min ñori na mol kam fo modo lo bije ni wala konton de si manan do bije ni wala da sama de konton na fo mo be keta dela de karo ni be mona fono la niata balu be ko yari nguma. And then if you are not financially stable, if you start talking ko ila ko di soto de la be sa be sorongima isa jete muro you join them just like other politicians that they actually financially crippled to join them. Or on tolnte wealthy. Now what do you want to and in this politics, we are coming into it. Just like Kemo already made his declaration, we are coming to it, and then we are coming to it differently. Ngo, nim batara yalong sa atilin nyola, nim kende yalong sa atilin nyola, nim kuriya nim tapale yalong sa atilin nyola. Alman fellong mamilong, alman dunia kalam tamam, ental bulu mota minta mimbul, alman fellong mul mamilong. Otal batara yanin tilimbali atempo ni mulla banko kan nalbe denta walla. The common denominator here is the Gambia. Aside that, nobody cares about what another person does in your house. If you don't really want to be accountable, leave our government positions and go and sit at home. But you cannot use government position to actually catapult the interests of your business associates and, of course, your family members. Because even look at it, how could you even give TV and radio license to these big corporations like these GSM operators? That alone is a fraud. That alone tells about malgovernance. That alone tells about indiscipline in government and, of course, lack of foresight.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think he too is, I told him to come as well. So
Yeah.
So because as a couple of minutes ago we updated that Kemo Fatty, who was leading almost 14, 13 other young people marching towards Mile 2 Central Prison, they too were arrested.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gambia government, they are being very strategic. Omar.
Yeah.
Bari yalong nintara mo kurungo. Ni sit and surround yourself with the people mi yalong ko lebe ya jameno kanong. Alama barabe minke kang is the playbook right out of ya Jame's dictatorship. Nothing
Absolutely.
different. Because Omar Wali ni aje adama mang hakilo le soto drong. Katuning adama ye mira atenata president ya to nyame. Aye mira bi ya jame ma fongo na fa ya jame lafta muru na Gambia. Amasino Gambia. Makisal mi alon ko le malat political brother bi makisal haynang ayala sate bebula ite alon ko Gambia no in Senegal nse medla to nyaaw nyan na sate momanta bitole wala makisal fe la porta tata Maroc ya jame tata sate fango mi alon ko Gambia no fango tije ando wolbe kera barola minu alon ko le ka fa nyinke abitala le womo kidon le buru na nyinasi ye wuli ya balfo ko e man fenke barola ya beke andong banko dingo Banko di yamu moneti Gambia mo bere denta Omar. Gambia mo bere denta Omar.
Yeah.
Niye kilim muta tanna kafunti.
Absolutely.
Kafu woni wo mo tangol le denta. Bi ntol digolu. Ntol musolu ndingolu. Wolle ba nyengelo kono jam.
Okay.
Muso sita da kumbota. Na peleka na ya ke sita abuka murun koma de. Kalama revolution. It's an example of what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Ise musol kumbondi katu niye ngo min fenyo iko niye fenko fenyo ma.
Yeah.
Abuka side Omar.
Ana sulalo fenyo si jamfanya wana ni anyo puta akademine.
Niama so bimbe damente teng. Nte kajimfo molele andung niya po hakilo to mol kana misconstrue a different way.
That's right.
Yaya jamme Yaya Jame Mantoro Midla Gambia la dimita.
Absolutely.
But me and the Neotora being Kumbota Mbaloye Dimi.
Yeah.
Nimisata. Wala buko momi ya long control keleta.
Yeah.
Molmi ya long ko mol yelo le ponta Gambia.
That's
Itate
right.
ya Cindy. Ika ko telebentol nyaajo fitala. Wala entol kumbodibi. Katu iko mo kurumo mi ya long ko. Ina man dem fene ni woye jawya. It's different from me ya long ko itele amako ya jamfa Omar.
Absolutely.
Bi Adama Baro, I told them Jamfa, Gambia do Jamfa.
That's
I
true.
Gambia
That's true.
Jamfa, but Alani Jamfa to Bukata. So sign Gambia Dingolu. I told me along Kosaka Alialo Yaja medicator secretary. I'll sit at Kafuka Manna Momutan Besilan. Muneda Bantakela.
Well,
Gambian called Malia Madla Minna B. Because I feel couldn't be in Yumuta. Friday be in Yumuta. Be benefit the Alano be Mutala.
Yeah.
But if Funtita. Ye muta soma dolle be funtila ye muta sinindi soma dolle be funtila kalamare revolution katetene
It's not sustainable.
Grupo sono sande na grupo funtita ye muta that night molia lonko solo sande pa on the 16 lo e dabona la kuru funtita suka daba hapa nyol me night wol fana funtita
Yeah.
kiti dulato ni bitala mol se funtina hani sunkaro kono for the first time in my life sunkaro kono ngamusol moy be solo sande be dawo da la funtindi bo den kilo laka Gambe muso ibukamwe moka denkilo la sunkaro kono.
Yeah, but
those were voices of resistance.
There were exceptions, right?
Those were voices of resistance. Because ye digo le soron.
Yeah.
Ye kewol le soron. Ye baringol ni la muso le soron. Ye barimba le soron. Ye la sister sol le soron. B Gambia dunga bet loud la. Nin terete ni oman itindo ni me dimi. Wotete man Gambia kanu.
Okay.
Gambia dunga ba dawoda B ali wuli ali alte city Gambia membe je nun yaja me mantoro min la mol camp for 22 years bi Gambia dunga wole be commencer kan kotika andu nal sita ali anya lo kan mbe nun dame nyine be dimele yaja meta.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kat yaja mele kelo we were doing it from outside.
Yeah.
Adama Barola kelo is happening right in the heart of Gambia. Wala na ngomi mu Gambia dingoti. Mbe wulale mini be banta mini be konoto mbe ngante siti nganyunuka because nyinkelo le nyanta sone ala wodot katu wodo ya jamele biji andu ya jamena la kuriyabe ya jamea fa ay Gambia la kna fulo be sunya so guess what, he didn't need the foreign donors ay arabo ne worka ko do diala Adama Barrow dum ala baluo niaje they all have inflated bellies and egos is because of the money they get from foreign countries. Adama Barrow ka balu menna miya nyum kono photo warandi ten aka balu international kodola so sign nyin had mantoro be akalo Gambian ka tajiran taya ana ka Gambian wala nin kada banton ko yaje ibe bulo mu dara ba fala ko ntol kete mako le ka democracy ntol ko wala mako abaraka Omar.
Thank you Tukulor come for wrong Barrow Adela case is different from Ajame. That guy came through the barrel of gun. So I'm trying to get Fatu because Fatu is writing some updates on the comment section. Tukulo. Ako, these guys were the environmentalists Kemo Fatty and others were Kemo Fatty and others arrested while walking to National Assembly. So Kemo, you know,
Fatu Ture ngale buka sele mola live photo.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Can you just try to get an update? Like, I know you might be busy, but that's just. You just want. Yeah, no, she's joining now. She's okay, Fatu. I know you're a little bit busy. So,
sorry, yes.
Yeah. So you just wrote something on the comment section like a morning, other people were arrested, and what other update do you have?
So Saibo, you know Saibo, the police PRO, the PRO of GALA.
GALA, yeah.
Together with some youths, they were arrested at the Westfield, right? But right now they are taking to the Caraba police station, and they are being escorted to the CID department for a questioning. So Saibo and crew are at the Caraba police station. So Kemo, I'm sure if you have checked his page yesterday, said he was going to walk with some boys to the National Assembly. Now, they are not, they're just walking. So I don't know why and how, but they have been arrested, and right now we don't know exactly where they are, but they were arrested whilst walking to the National Assembly.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Mahdi's condition is something that we need to check. You know, Mahdi been receiving treatment. Yeah, he was receiving treatment, so we don't know how. I was going to just check one more time, because at the time I was checking, he was in the hospital, could not get him on the phone. So I don't know what is the update, but he was receiving some IV treatment and also some, I think, the oxygen, because I saw the inhaler. So I don't know what is the update on him. But this is the situation. But the other boys, we all know they're at the Mile 2 Central Prison. So I think apparently what happened was they were not denied bail, but they made application for the bail. Now the magistrate could have ruled on the bail application today, or adjourned it. So I guess they adjourned it for September 4th, and obviously remanded them at the Mile 2 prisons. So yes.
Thank you so much, Fatu. So Tukulo they could not get Mahdi online. What happened to Mahdi? He was tear gas with many other people. So I don't know. Yeah.
And Fatu mbe duale ye. Ngado no ko bela do kwala. Bari tol mimbe banto to ni ake mbinje kankaje ila do kolom. Because right now there are many places itanyanta menkovala. But this is something that has to be documented. Fatu re TRRC mimma nyina TRRC la. Ni aje binte kumbota. Ngamla PTSD ngola soto Fatu. Because biring nganying tia gaso de nganying fanko mbalo beja hasta nyoko rando ngabeje la pejolto. You know, I feel like nyina timeta ya jabela keloti kato ngamomin landi wala nata kanying kimantoro la molkang. And ita fango Fatu, today you are a victim of the same system. Because ya choose kato nyabondi ye keja woti.
Oh yeah.
So ila doko ebe menkekang. Even though your platform le soto ebake kan gamede alo mari abarako ala sajindi la dimbayaka ntaka nyefoyela always atolbe do community di hajan tol kaje andun international community ibe nyi video bondile tele ya ibe nyi natalol bondile tele ya baraka alo mari ala sancho.
Sonko Gambia, yes.
I think Sonko will be able to give us more updates.
But I can
So I've doing you know, but anyway, we are monitoring the situation because tata nung prison nung kadomro samba nung galiye. So while we were in the prison, two PIU pickup came there, and they want to arrest all of us while we were in the prison.
Oh, Mile 2.
So I mean, narna tandiloko. Ndolman na jankana protest la. Ndola mul melialongo yemuta. So na push and pull sort of at some point. Later not jebula, kabina jebula. So because the Omar Saibo ning other 4 people, including one lady. Right now we someone I mean Kairaba, the Kairaba police station right now. You can see the right at Kairaba thing.
Okay.
You know, so you know, Bejan Fanana realized who Kemo Fatty, Kemo Fatty, the activist, the environmentalist. A group of team, they were heading to Banjul to the parliament by their foot.
But it's Sonko Gambia left in Karamena.
Okay.
Left a yamar lamina kayin karon left a yamar lamena.
Okay.
Right now, you live in Comia, Jamaica, Yamandre, left out to Bela Sorana. So it may alonko be it right now you are big asset to all of us.
Yeah.
So it is sake nyawonya. Isake nyawonya mol mako ikaneta muta. Katu it right now you are the one on the ground, Minister Mol Mako no. But what they I remember Calamari revolution, video you dabon muta molbe muta. Muneketa.
Prince Bolong, you can send a request, Prince Bolong.
Yeah. I told me minibe banta wole en tolma ko im tol mimbe diaspora. Kelo e kandi Adama Baro ya mekan. So bi Adama Baro panang ya jame a dandame ya Adama Baro ya kuma wolto. Wolto altel fana ala do ko ala mari ala salje wala ngakata. Because mbedame to bi ndigol le benin prison kono. Ndol le benin prison kono. So ntol bele nyanta wala andum altol mimbe banta Mini alonko hanita fango bi se hakilo to back back
yeah, because they all what they
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
do.
No, even for Kumada Bakele. You know, I mean, like I said, Niman Kuke Kutela. Because even at Westfield, I mean, you know, Karibe Saibo Nyon Mutakam, they want to arrest me. I say, Eben arrest Laminala, what have I done? Eben arrest Laminala. They go, why I was at Westfield? I say, Westfield. Do you saw any placard with me? Ali placard na Jambuluba. You did not see anything with me. Kafu Eben arrest Lam. Kaya Umbulan na Jolo Dukore boy. So but like anti Tukloria Funyaming, I mean, Gambian all for understand. Mota Menkono, Science and Dunka Menkono, Wole Jawiata, because you're more less of a million kui do kuala put control Jarabi. So Gambian understand Yama. So Mekarabal, we are trying to follow all our boys. And then from there we will update you guys.
Thank you so much. Prince Balang.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
My brother, yenib manglena nuyu yenanyem anti tuku fofu nonu.
Thank you so much, bro.
Wow, di naharlu diga lu ñoo nekk di gis ni right now in the Gambia. Yeah, because this is not we were expecting from this Barrow government.
Absolutely.
This is exactly what was Yaya Jammeh doing, or even worse than what Yaya Jammeh was doing. And this is not what we voted for in 2016.
Yeah.
So motax ñu ngeen naharlu bu baaxa baax lu ñu nekk di gis ni right now. And you know what I cannot understand is that, you know, according to my little understanding of the Constitution, I think what they did was aligned with the Constitution. It didn't violate the Constitution. I think what the police are using right now is the Public Order Act, you know, to arrest these people or to detain them. And the Constitution is the supreme law of the land.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this is what I don't understand. The judge that sent these people to Mile 2, on which grounds did he base his argument? You know?
Well, but you have to understand that during Jammeh's regime, it was the judges who bastardized our legal system.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So this is a playbook. This is why I said dictatorship is bad.
No, it is.
Because judges were when the change happened, judges started going by the law. But now judges also, remember, can have they are also after their bread and butter. So if it means if some of them, if they want to keep their jobs, they will oblige by what the president tells them to do. Because yesterday Adama Barrow was at a mosque opening. He was inside a mosque. And Momodi Alunjai begged him and said, "Can you please free the youth?" He said to him, "Why don't they get bopper?" So for him to sit down and say, "You that are out there fighting for the soul of their country because of corruptive behaviors by his
Mr. Kamara.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. I just want to take 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay, Gambia, that's fine. Just
Gambia, bala firma bitama Gambia.
Okay, you're for now.
So, because if you check during Jammeh's time, the people that were running, you know, things for Jammeh, basically those are the people in Barrow's government.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Exactly.
The earlier we accept some of these things, the better for the country. You understand? If you check, and the opposition, they are not helping. We must say this thing. The opposition, the opposition, because saying number of us you try to evaluate opposition every day you go online, they are just fighting. I don't understand why people have this perception that if you love Yanks, you must hate Talib. If you love Talib, you must hate Yanks. Barrow knows already there's a problem. Opposition. Next week. Nobody.
Because
you know, the earlier we come together as a country, because most of these people, they are in for their own selfish interest. Because not Gambia, all this nonsense will not be happening. So most of us at some point, it get out on a political con because most people are there for their selfish interest.
Yeah, they don't care about.
Why will you tell somebody come like we are still arrest? Because
Yeah.
Is that not a public space?
Absolutely.
It will come a time, and if they get away with this,
they will do more.
Because
Absolutely.
if you remember April 10, 11, Jamaica time, they were following people to their houses. They were arresting. That's what is going to happen. So, they arrest. So the opposition, they are not doing well. They are doing everything they want. You know, if you see somebody was if any Sininja or because they are opposition. If they can, if the
Bari base. Nange mako idamande. Yaya jame. Watu minna yalo yaya jame. Watu minna molbe yaya jame pon 2016. Opposition obe wenye nyama.
Fragmented.
Ntol koyo kalta coalition la mingo mi kaf konda malbe lola nin carte tuluna.
Bari comme dindingol.
Nata. Birin kalamare bo luson nata be ya jame be kere. Ibe kata kilomati.
But anti-tukulo.
Ilama drum. Mol ka for UDP nin do ebuka den. UDP nin. Do you know ko Halifa Sallah actually?
Yeah.
Ayala cartel bele chikaya di Adama Barola. Not only that, when they are on the coalition 2016 caravan, Adama Barrow man Gambia lo. So Khalifa nita ta sate o sate to fondol kajelen tol be GDF group okono. So listen to me very carefully. Katu kule be kekan sami alan kaketa nung andu sing hakiloto. Nyeng opposition o B. Ila supporters all need dingol lebe nying kuokono.
Absolutely.
Opposition o is a bonyo koto nyawonya. One thing I know for a fact. This happened in 2016. Wala muko niaje ko Gambia be tekan. Ibe wulla le katu BBB. Mi itol nying opposition o min bebe sirin kamino la kuofo. Wala ya jambe bondande wala se Adama Barrow bondino kote.
Absolutely.
But
coalition 2016. When the caravan is on the road. Halifa Saleh put it loud la Halifa Saleh la ka fa ko nying community. Nyina muila mantoroti sila ke nyineda. Hana ba bulol ke nyame Adama Barrow ka bulol ke nyame fa Halifa Saleh la ka tangial. So Gambia be nata nyokang. So Adama niaje Adama nyinata wobela. The same people mini alonko atelota against wolle bije. So nte lafta ga concentrate minna B because yalo minka kan tol Gambia nolla. And I'm not saying this to marginalize anybody. Manyim popurka modo ya ase hakotu nye njuso bota midrong. So ninja juso bota nte buka nya buka yele. But more than la mina B, alinkana nying conversation turn into the political parties. I focus on the youth mini yalanko.
Lucky, I'm coming to you and Mr. Jabate. Yeah. I have two other people pending.
Yeah, ni youth soul until after the volume. Nimin diam tedro ni parete ji saje do sedum. But be mol do dane na men na volume ko. Na seleta nyin ko because ntol nata nyin life of menka jang. Until seleta jenne pour ka nyin dinngol la ko fo. Ani man toro ni tajirante ya.
Yeah, baro chilimbali amen.
We don't care about the political parties. We do not care to talk about the political parties today because this is not about them. So as I go to Nyana, you saw the wrong. But until being a focus on me at the life for the people, please. So
Mr. Wali, can I give my last words before I go down?
Yes, please. Yes,
absolutely.
My last words are to the securities of the nation.
Very important.
Mangi gis amna police bu nekk di spray nit yi mel ni comme kuy spray ay mosquitoes.
Boy, it's crazy.
Nagay fatale ku ne joglasi Yaya Jammeh li lañ nekkoon di def. Tay di ana joglasi yoyu nonu. Ñom yeb ku nekk am ngay face problem am, you know.
One of them just got 67 years.
Commands. You know, Yaya Jammeh mu ngi tok ñaata at electoral Guinée mënu ta ñib ci Gambia.
So lepp
lu gaay di def nagay fatale ku elek ñu xamne they will be held accountable for whatever the actions that they are taking right now.
Absolutely.
So this is my advice to the securities and also to the judges, you know. Nagai by helne, you know.
Magistrates and so on.
Because law fi def rek elek activity dina la topa. History will judge them. So this is my words, you know, to the securities.
I will come later, inshallah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Sorry for interrupting you. Yeah, I was trying to comment on some other people's here. Yeah.
Okay. Very much.
All right, no problem.
Okay, bye.
Okay, all right, thank you. Tukulo. Na PIU fanandaji manyaja.
Yeah, because yala menkata PIU la Omar. PIU from the day the change happened. Because security sector reforms, Solo Sanding Foundation actually, they have been working tirelessly to try to get Adama Barrow's government to implement security sector reforms. But yeah, Adam and left security reforms because you can't
because
you know, be about if you have your dog, the way you train your dog is how they're going to go out and attack people. But if you bring that dog back and tame them not to be attack dogs, they will stop being those dogs.
You remember when Barola, one of the political Penkola, Kafadamenko, 3 years, Jordan, covering a Gazo Faika. You know, he was even making fun of that. So if a head of state can say that, what do you expect about these
have
people,
nothing to fear
PIO officer?
Because he's happy with their performance.
So it's like Mandingol coming for Kudo ke Kalala Dula Bankola. They've seen the president doing it. So of course they will do it. Mr. Javate.
Thank you.
Chilibula Venyadi.
Alhamdulillah.
Good. So if I'm going to say left a memfala.
Thank you, and then thank you everyone, especially Auntie seeing Adija, and then Umarwali, you did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Of course, I'm because I encouragement of the Molial me along on the ground. So I'll point on important. Ningata given new uniform fuel. Till to Yantaho code Dindi ila Kuokono back.
Absolutely.
Because I see a video, Yarong, Moriantaka Fendo long, first time from Kaki, and time Minibeke account, they will be different. Because all time on Itaka food okay, Abu Molbuka video sotono, Nian TRC Gibe, Nico be Tamonum, even lot of video legend Minia Lonko, Ibe Fintila, anywhere, you understand. Like, I want to tell you that, you know, it was on April 10, 11, now after coming many time of Minkonabola, imagine a lot of videos. So, you have to be very careful because it means being come by this time. Alonko, Jamal Lebinia to me Alonko, and Molbe said, Molbe no Mol Conole. Because I know that any Zambian, tell a brother, after the same modern para wala sinyo mi alon ko nabe ñokono ni ngaje any day ay ninke mba ko mandila nan no samo fa ngafa ko hakilo on kunda kanale akata kanale akata ni aji be kunun ya jamela mul fongol manke num paral ya bi système nata falim paral dunta système ko sama dafa men mimbina abe jumal lekele ala molte hakilo to ngamoy modola o ya be larina amon kende ya ngamoy modola you know who Jamal Bekeri Milanko, you know, even Putin, but Hadamadingo Hako, Hadamadingo Simbali,
Haramadu Nyamo.
When the Musikeba Doba Laring, adapting Kokono, you was Sirandi, Ye Kukala. Be careful, when the Madron, Alanitoro, Nimeke, who nadented. I did a model car, Mola, you have to be very careful. It means when you come on, Nimodalo take, even Mania take, because Hadamadingo Nyamo and Hadamadingo Hako. Hadamadingo Bala is very, very dangerous. I remember very well. Yara Ninta Bafala Wato, I didn't Diamo Semeni Senegal. Diamo the Siarin, Jojo Ketan Jambaro, Alafaka Usman Lakitiota. You know, Hadamadingo, Allah, I tell us a mofa, a mobile, but more the Diamo, a moment they Kitota, attending anything at the Janabo and a mobile function Diamo. Obviously, Janin Jojo Vesila Femcoca, Allah not at the Dabon de Control.
Allah. I killed two.
So Hadamadingo hakil to be especially in Libe informal because all Latina Alka Paral Ijibe Silokan Ikatar Randi, near the Moka Kampal Kama, then the Mosambala leaf, near the Moka Kampal Kama, Niminko Tendina, Nintenin Dila, Allah Hakilo to attend Pickup. And Nintel Dom Killing the Paral.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anti-Aminfo, Adama Baro Lota Farafinian meeting of a president, head of state, Kafoko, covering young Kibaro Mangatiaga to faith and to Momina. Rather unfortunate.
It is. Wallahi. No, so,
thank you so much.
All right, I have another person that I want to give him a little bit of time. Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah, all right.
Okay, good. So,
so then, I have another guy. This other guy, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Ibrahim.
Hello.
Yes. Walaikum salam. Yeah.
Umaru Alawi de Corsan.
Talent, alhamdulillah. Yeah, because you have some. Yeah.
ngal konto lafta information o dole dilalla because bin so nante funa men problem on monitor ka ngaje muso do bi ya boyta mi ya lon ko aboyte ya fenge paral ya blandi ila moto kono ya samba so nga mebe muljini ka bar still muso ni na ko dal mantra ati ka mul mantra ani nga video fana ko nga dula do fana je dam ya lon ko the new baby born de na no lam dala bi fano ko mul na be bori kanyo so ala su be so man la kan lo ko danke
So what we are doing now, because like when we started earlier, Fature joined us, so to give us some updates. So we will keep on updating people about what is happening. Yeah.
Okay,
Because things he was tear gas and so on.
Yeah, police will have motor fire. Paral phone
Yeah.
sama.
I saw that. So we will ask those people and any update, then we will let you know, inshallah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Tukulor.
Omar.
Yeah.
Omar, this is a sad day in our country.
Absolutely.
These are sad times in our country. But at this point, me Gambian Oliamar la men drum wole muko. Ntol beta men to jambi. Mo kana si ya fo mole kali nyinke le balta nyinke. Katu ni mo kilin kumbo ta Gambian tol bene nyanta bulla ngakumbo.
Absolutely.
Sajirente ya kana songola na sate to andum akakuma sitenne.
Biri
ya jame yake. Altol mo jaman le sita mo yebulol siti nyoka mbari ya jame ya start kamola kela molfa. Motumo it was too late. Adama baro dunja nabe mo kalo filla jang. Katu bi madi jobate. Madi mira madi jobirinta nga madi je. No, nita sita molmi alon ko andate adama baro BBB. Ni mole kukelum adama baro le mi alon ko duba man sogala madi jobate le folo be wulla diam. So Gambia non bali amad la minna nyi dokuwo. Ndol dama tante tel batata de. Bali nintara sake kuo ni wonata. Mo manya na fole batata. Ibe tele city la fay bamba. Mini yalan ko le laftan man toro la le kay bondi je. Katu madame de den adoma baro e min commencé te nali atuja continue.
Amasibo
be kelal andon sanjita mo wonnim fula. Ndol Gambia non ngawo kumbo ya jame bulle. Altol Gambia no altol ya jame funtinda le arama baro kedi. Bitum altol mo mi yalan ko altol ya tali asimbi. Ni wonata ado ya jame min ka dalilo mi ya nali ya jame bondi. Wo bakela wo tala bondi. Albabon la nyaadile karte fayo wo mu jaarlet.
Lopi, can you just send request again? Yeah, I try to send you request. Yeah.
Ani wakai muansa punti. Nie mo muta kemesa punti. Na me tay balona ko ha you man ta jahanola.
It's not sustainable.
Yo.
Yeah. Tukulor, I know we have spent a little bit of time here. I'm gonna go down for now. Probably you might come later again.
Inshallah.
I try to get few people, but in mess or no. But I barka back. Thank you so much.
For later, inshallah.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
On the post, I'm gonna review my Facebook post again. The whole idea around this Facebook Live today is basically to have a conversation with you about the GALA protest because of the remarkable efforts that they are doing in safeguarding our country's future. And I also have a moment to reflect on the mayor's testimony at the Local Government Service Commission. So these are very important events. We are on Banjul in Banjul Kambi, and I have a feeling that we need to speak about it. So the GALA protest phenomenon is not only GALA about Edward Francis Small, led by the Madi Jobate and the Aliyu and the rest. They are doing amazingly well. They are literally saving their lives for the Gambian. When GALA started protesting, when they started holding the government accountable, that's the time the government shows interest in fighting corruption. It is because of GALA and its members and the supporters and the general public that is why the government was kind of conditioned to establish a commission to look into, well, not a commission, but to establish the parliamentary inquiry to look into the sales of German's assets. So, I felt like that is something me alonko akumayata babakel. So, the government is the people. The Masakunda offended via and control the plus with you. So when we leave them to do whatsoever they like doing without not holding them accountable, sometimes they feel so much comfortable. And what GALA is doing is amazing. Without no political colors, without no tribe, without no religion whatsoever that is related to anyone's legally protected characteristic. They're putting aside all the things that does not matter at this point to go out to peacefully protest, and then we need to be able to say this very clearly. GALA has never been involved in any kind of protest that that is violent. All their protests are peaceful. We follow law and order. Okay. Now, if you want to argue about the issue of permit, the whole idea why government or laws allow people to go in and request for permit to protest is simply because they want the law to be abided. They want that the protests are peaceful. They want that the protests, are something that are meaningful, I believe. So, masakunda la responsibility long pour ka make sure ning citizen or feel that a protest, you protect, you safeguard. For not to go, physical on them, to brutally, violate them. And that is what we've been seeing over the past couple of months. And one thing I have seen very, very outstanding and about these GALA protesters, our brothers and sisters, is that they are committed. And even the government, I think they know very well that they cannot break them. So it's clear that they will not do anything. These young folks, they change their course. And you could see he wanted to show any sign of disunity or any agenda that is different from the generic agenda. So it is very clear that GALA is on track, and we are all hopeful that this fight will continue, because any Gambian, as far as you love the Gambia, you are a Gambian, genuine Gambian, be it a politician, a civil servant, a public servant, a private citizen, you need to embrace what GALA is doing, because they are literally sacrificing their lives for the betterment of the country. They don't go out to protest to get jobs. They don't go out to protest to get any favor from government. They go out to protest to request for best of service delivery from the people that are entrusted with the affairs of our state. And they're doing that in groups, but individually they're even paying the prices. We've seen some, people in GALA, losing their contracts. Some of them, you could see the government have already put them in their red books, and we all know they will keep going after them. But we can all see that the boys, they're committed. They remain very strong on the cause. And these GALA protesters, is the same idea behind why Lawyer Usainu Dabo and all other Salos and them went out, all the other protesters. This is the same idea. So the spirit needs not to die, it needs to continue. So definitely I feel like we need to applaud them. We need to appreciate the great work that they are doing. And, politicians, individuals, private citizens, like I said, should continue supporting them. So, I think the issue is still going on. We are observing, we are watching, and we are following it. We're praying and supporting them from afar, and extending our love. Even though we are not on the ground, the only thing we could do is to show solidarity and support, right? So that's the first part of the conversation. I don't intend to stay here very long, so I will make sure I do it very quickly, because sometimes some of these things, if you want to write everything on Facebook, you know very well that it takes so much time to write it, because you're on your computer, you're making sure that you write perfectly, you're making sure your grammar is intact, you're making sure you argue constructively, you're making sure your statements are coherent so that people will read and immediately understand. So it takes time, I understand. And for people also to read, because people don't have the time to go over long posts and all that. I remember one of my posts on What's on Gambia, someone said, can somebody summarize it for us? So, people could listen to you, but sometimes it's difficult for people to read long posts. So that's why I felt like this one is very, very important, especially today. So moving on to the second part, that is Mayor Bensouda's testimony in local government, the service commission that have been established, the local government, the commission. So Mayor Adele, what happened today? I think today is a day that should kind of tell every Gambian what this country is all about and what this country needs and who can salvage this country. I think that's very clear today. So there's not a lot to say about it. The mayor went to the commission. He respected the commission. He gave them the regard that they require. He answered their questions and he delivered his testimony in a style that is worthy to be reckoned with. And that is why even those who might not be in full support of him will acknowledge the great work that he has done for the Kanife municipality. And one thing I keep saying is we need to be clear. The mayor is a human being. Nobody expects that the mayor is going to be in the council for close to 10 years, from 2018 or whatsoever, and will not cause any error, will not have any mistake in the course of his duty. No, that's not possible. I mean, he is human. Even Hani Dol Belong, even ila normal Facebook lives, ila commentaries, sometimes it can offend. Sometimes it can for me and they are wrong. In your head, you think it's right. In your normal duties, those who work in government, you know that in your daily responsibilities in government, in public service, there are things that you do that is wrong you learn from. And I'm quite sure that there are things that mayor might have done unknowingly, it's not in line. But I'm also quite very sure that there have not been any politician in the face of the country Miyango has ever worked for the people, have always represented the people, have always had the interests of the people at heart, that Mayor Bensouda. And that is very clear in the history of commissions, testimony, especially politicians. You can see at the end of the day, they have either nothing to say, or they will have to be by the bush, or they have nothing concrete to give to the commission. But today is a complete distinction to that. Today is a show of class. Today was a show of attitude that is in line with what we believe as a real Gambian. Today was a day of lecture. Today was a day of showing real competence. And I think that is, that's an agreement. Everyone has agreed to that as far as our social media and all that is concerned. So there are certain things that I will need to specifically point out. And one of them, I'll make sure I'm very careful because I'm not a master, I'm not a legal person. Even though you do things that are you daily involved with lawyers, in the job that I do currently, but I'm not a lawyer. And I'll be very careful and remain guided, right? And most of the things I'm going to say here will be based on opinion. And some will be entirely based on facts. And all of you, I believe most of you will know that. So I have a problem with some of the things that the lead council keep repeating, especially things like financial manual. I think the lead council is kind of, maybe today when he goes back, he will take time to review his statements, and then maybe he will be provided guidance by his colleagues. A manual is not a law. A manual is a guiding document. Everywhere in the world, the moment they say this is a manual, it means it is something that is given to you for you to work alongside with it. A manual is not directing what the law is. No, the law is the supreme law. The reason why we have manuals is because the law cannot cover everything. So usually the act will provide a manual, or will provide, we'll say a policy, or we'll say, a rule need to be set to guide the principles or guide in the manner in which a particular service is delivered. And that's what a manual is, we all know. So it's very disappointing. On my own part, I am so disappointed to see the lead counsel of the commission insisting that the financial manual is a law. It's not a law. It's not a law, It's not a law, and I think that is very clear. And the mayor made this distinction. You cannot call a manual a law. It's not an act. It's not of that. So, and anything that is in contravention with the law, the constitution, or an act, it's the basic legal knowledge that is null and void. I remember one of my professors in the university would tell you any law that is in contravention with an act or with a constitution is null and void. So therefore, the lead council trying to push the mayor with prejudice. If I'm calling for this guy, he came purposely not to even ask questions, but to ridicule this guy. He came purposely just to create a scene where people will crop videos and go and laugh at him. He came purposely just to create a scenario that will make him look like a bad person. So I definitely feel like it's a quite huge disappointment, on the side of the lead council. And, God is not still sleeping. Alaman can see no man said. If you see, I'm sorry about the kids. I ran away from them from the sitting room, came into the bedroom, but I can still hear them screaming. So apologies for that. Yeah, but so Alaman can see no man said. So that is why the mayor was very clear with some of the things that he said. And, it's very sad that the commissioners allow the league council to interpret laws, to read laws, and to deliver judgments. The lead council is not a judge. His responsibility in that commission is to help the mayor to go through his testimony, is to help the mayor to provide answers to the commission. That's the job of the lead council. The lead council is not there to say whether what mayor did is in line with the law or whatsoever. He's not a judge. He's not there to deliver judgment on the practice of the mayor. So we all know that. So to say this is what you've done, this is what you guys have done, drawing different judgments. The number of judgments that he has called today is, I don't think any judge has ever done that in one sitting. So I will advise the lead council and advise myself and advise the commission to adequately and properly advise themselves to, make their commission to be reputable. This commission is one of the most infamous commissions in the history of the country. Even before it coins, this is what people were saying since the beginning. It's a witch hunt commission. And that is exactly what the lead council has proven today. Hopefully tomorrow will be different, but that's what has happened today. And all of you, even those who never wanted Mayor Bensouda, could affirm to this fact. Right? And that is one thing that we all need to consider. And then the fact of the matter is, he's not also allowing the mayor to deliberate on things that are important for the public to know. They're important. When the mayor came into the office, the first thing that he did was to ensure that his own mother's contract, retainership, is revoked. And mind you, he did not do this because his mother is incompetent. He did not do this because his mother has credibility issues. He did this because he wants to believe that this is something that is going to bring conflict of interest in the country. And that goes to tell you that this mayor is a conspicuous mayor. It's a mayor who has the interest of the municipality at heart, right? And he doesn't only stop there. He made sure he put a coalition of all the mayors and the chairmen, the chairwomen around, and write a letter to the local government service commission, to the minister or whatsoever, to explain to them what are the problems in the council. You come to realize for Alaman Kisiro Mansadi in when he did that, what did they reply with? They reply by saying that they agree entirely with what the mayor and the rest of the mayor says. But they don't want to do it by piecemeal, they want to do it holistically. So even the ministry or the local service ministry, local government ministry knew very well that the laws in the local government councils are not fit for purpose. They knew, they admitted by their reply letter. So I think Patrick knows that. And the mayor is the first mayor in the history of Gambia local government to challenge the laws and give reasons why he believes this law is not fit for purpose in local government. So that goes to tell you that this is a mayor Alonko. Since the first day another office, he has the interest of the local government at heart. And we need to appreciate that, right? But he doesn't even want the mayor to say that. And mayor need to be given the opportunity to deliberate on issues. And he keeps saying things that are not correct. He keeps saying, you are here to answer questions. No, the mayor is not just only there to answer questions. He's there to give a testimony. And giving testimony requires explaining things in details, requires giving clarifications, requires answering questions. So you cannot corner him to say, oh, he is just there to kind of answer questions. That's not true. Yes, Lalo, I completely agree. I would have wanted to even spend more time on GALA, but because the problem is I want to make sure everything that I say about what's going on is factual, because the thing is, the protest is still going. There are news reports that are coming. People are still out there. So I want to make sure I know exactly the atmosphere so that anything that I'm going to say is going to be in line with what happened and so that my arguments will be in tandem with the reality. So that's why I don't spend more time. I just give them credit that you did, that everybody did, and that we will continue to do. We will obviously come back here to, do more of that. But because the commission has, the testimony for today has ended, I felt like it's important to give more relevance, well, not relevance to that, to talk about that more, because that's what we clearly understand, right? So I hope you understand that. So this is the case. So, we all know that you need to give people to testify, So, what the mayor did today was an exception. He proven a lot of people wrong. And it's sad to say, sometimes you don't even make referrals, but I've seen people, me along there, even in the same party with him, even before he goes to the commission, they were sharing it, they were ridiculing him, they thought he's just going to go there, and they're just going to call him thief, and he would have nothing to say. And that was not what happened. And the main reason why I even come live today regarding this testimony is about what the mayor said in terms of politics is about winning. That's a very, very accurate statement. I've seen some people crop the video, a couple of people crop the video, posted it and say the mayor is saying that people vote based on, people do not vote based on confidence, but it's about winning. But let's look at the reality. What he said is the truth, whether you agree with it or not. In the Gambia, just last election, the person who has won with more than 50% of majority, he has no education. The highest qualification he has is secondary certificate, and up till today, no one has even ever seen his results. So, which means if Gambians were voting because of qualification, they will either vote for Halifa Sallah or Essa Fall or Ousainou Darboe. Those are the most qualified people. On that electoral, on that polls, William Koilota, how many people got master's degree, right? How to call it? Essa Fall is a master's degree holder. Abdullahi Ijame, may his soul rest in perfect peace. My senior and one of the best human beings you ever interacted with. He got a master's degree. In fact, he got 2 master's degrees, right? Like Ousainou Darboe got a master's degree, right? Essa Falwell got a master's degree. I've already said that. Halifa Sallah, I'm not sure he got a master's degree, but I think he got a bachelor's degree and he's highly educated. The only person who has a master's degree sort of is Mama Kande, right? But all those people, they don't get the vote that will take them to State House. It's the person with the less qualification was the one who was voted, right? So the mayor was right. And even not about that, let's look at elections before. He has no qualification. He has no bachelor's degree. How many elections did he won consecutively against someone who has master's degree? He's been winning like Ousainou Darboe consecutively, and like Ousainou Darboe master's degree. He did not have master's degree. So we can count thousands and thousands of scenarios where people who are not educated are voted over people who are educated. So you cannot say in Gambia people vote based on education or whatsoever. That would be wrong. And look at the scenario in which the mayor was saying it. Because earlier on, the mayor said in the council, there are people who did not have formal education. He said, in fact, they have people that, you require, for example, translator when they are having their council meetings. He said that very clearly. So which means there are people who cannot speak English in the council. So which means some of the councillors, they were voted because of, their relationship with their community. And you cannot say because they don't have formal education, they are not competent. That's wrong. This is a scenario that, this is a myth in the mind of the average Gambian. That somebody who get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree is competent, right? One of the people me and most of the time is Asan Jallo. He's here right now, right? But this guy, he doesn't have bachelor's degree, but he reasons more than some people that have PhD. When you argue with him, he will give you points by points by points by points, and he doesn't get any bachelor's degree, right? So to think that people need to get a certain PhD or certain master's degree to be competent is wrong. People need to understand that competence and education, it does not mean that they are mutually exclusive. No, people need to understand that. So, which means that one more means electorate and council, right? They are competent and they are doing very well. They work with the mayor. They make sure they represent their people in Kanifing municipality, and that's what is more important, right? So, what the mayor argued was very right. There are people in the council, they don't have formal education, but an internal auditor does not only need to be educated, but he need to have special skills. He need to have a speciality. They call it, that's what we call subject matter expertise. He needs to be a subject matter specialist in the business of auditing. And the mayor noticed that this person is not a subject matter specialist. You only know that he is a good mayor is because neither himself in Mulmari he is a bad mayor. He will want this incompetent internal auditor to be there because the internal auditor will not know what to raise. No. But he wants a competent internal auditor who will come and audit him and tell him, Mayor, what you guys are doing is wrong, do the right thing. And he doesn't only stop there, he wrote to the ministry to tell them to appoint a competent person. Right? So that goes to tell you this guy wants to be held accountable. Which politician will go and tell people, give me somebody who will be able to be perfect to tell me if I am wrong or if I am right. So this goes to tell you that the mayor is a very, very, he wants something, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. And then now the lead council trying to draw a line between all, but there are other people that are elected and they are not educated. That's a very, very wrong comparison. That is apples and oranges. It absolutely made no sense. And that is why the mayor told him that internal auditor requires subject matter expertise. But councillor is politics. Councillorship, you don't need any expertise or competence. That one is politics. He said sometimes they will even vote for you because you're handsome. Sometimes they vote for you for other reasons. And that's true. That is very, very true, whether you agree or not. People have different choices or different variables they consider when they are voting. And you cannot stop that. I don't know whether you understand it or not. So, we definitely need to know very clearly that the mayor is not saying that, you need to vote for people that are incompetent. He never said that. And I think that is the narrative that just handful of few, are trying to peddle. But you could go into their comment sections, you can see how people even react to their posts. So that goes to tell you that Gambians are really aware of what is happening. And more personally, I think this is a clarion call for all of us. And what he said is true, that winning is important. He said that in his testimony. Whether we agree or not, winning is important as a politician, especially as an opposition party. Except if you want to be like a party like PDIs who keep losing and getting the smallest votes, fine. Right? But if you want to be a party that want to change the country, you need to have the structure of winning. Right? But you need to have a habit, you need to have a plan of winning. I don't know whether you know it or not, but you need to have the plan of winning. Because, if you don't have a plan of winning, then what is the purpose of getting into it? Everyone get into something for a reason. The reason why people go to school is to acquire knowledge. The reason why people get into business is to make profit and become successful. The reason why people go to work is to, deliver service and get paid and take care of their families. Right? The reason why people, do several things, there is always an end goal, there is always a reason. And the reason why people get into politics is to win, get into government, and change the status quo in the country, and make sure they have a representation that is going to, make sure they adhere to the laws, they're going to make sure they're ready to change the status quo, to make sure they have best of service for people. That should be the mindset for every opposition. But if you are an opposition party, you are just thinking about how you should plan when you lose, or what you should do when you lose, then you are not ready for business. So opposition parties should be ready to win. That goes to say, like I said, unless if you want to be a doy party, that will keep losing and still keep losing and happy to lose. Otherwise, You need to be ready to win, and you need to come with tangible policies, tangible ideas, tangible strategies that will convince the masses to vote for you, right? So that's the fact, whether we like it or not, So, and that's what the mayor says. And I think this is broad. This goes even to the United Democratic Party. I think some folks will say, oh, these guys are just thinking about winning. Yes, but we should think about winning. Who thinks about losing? Who on earth thinks about when I lose? No, nobody thinks about when you lose. You need to have courage. You need to be an optimist. You need to be ready for win. Because, to be ready to be win requires preparation to be win, and to prepare to win is to have the mentality to win. But you don't even start the game and you're thinking of what will I do if I lose. Bro, we cannot keep losing. So this means his statement goes beyond that. It goes even to the UDP to say, let's think about re-strategizing. Let's engage everybody. Let's involve everybody. Let's have a team that will bring everybody together to see every Gambian feel included, so that we can win against the incompetent Adam Barrow, so that we can make sure we change the corrupt government to a functional government. So for that to happen, we need to have a representation that is reflective of the people, that will be able to reconcile the divide that is already existing, that will be able to increase our numbers, and that will be able to make sure we win. So for that reason, winning is important. Anybody who says winning is not important, if you have a motivational speaker who's telling you, oh, you don't need to worry about winning, don't listen to this motivational speaker. He is not a good motivation speaker. So I don't know. I'm gonna check the time. I think I said 30 minutes. I don't wanna spend more than 30 minutes already, right? But what is very clear is just give me a second. Just wanna see how long I've been here. Yes. So that is it. Today was an important day, and then we hope tomorrow will continue, and then we all see what has happened today. Before I go, I need to have my bottle of water because today is a day of hydration. Everybody is drinking. Even the lead council was drinking. Even the lead council was trying to remain hydrated. So I think I have to do the same thing right now. The weather in London is so bad. It's so bad. So I need to get some water as well to drink. So for that reason, Malbe controller, for those who join, this is now going to be recurrent, especially when it has to do with Gambia, it has to do with the mayor. We will come and clarify, we will come and support, we will come and make sure we put things clear. I used to say very clearly, personally, I have to say this. I don't owe the mayor anything. I don't. He doesn't do any favor for me, right? And I don't think I need any favor from him. But the fact of the matter is, this man is right now the man who can save the Gambia, whether you like it or not. It's written on the wall. He's the only person who can change the status quo. So what we can do is to rally behind him, is to support him, is to be with him, is to give him the courage, is also to hold him accountable. Because the truth of the matter is, sometimes the mayor is not perfect. He might do some things that is not in line with the law or that is wrong. It's good to call him out or to critique him. And I think he's somebody who listens very well, because there have been reports where he requests for 2-3 people to travel, and the CEO advised that he goes for 2 people, and he listens straight away. There have not been any instance where we see an executive officer of the mayor of California municipality to say that he advised the mayor and the mayor did not listen. No, he listens very well. So that goes to tell you that he is somebody who is very conscious. If he does something wrong, when you call him out and he's really going to listen, he's going to change. So for that reason, I think he's the kind of person we are in control of the last Gambians. And this is a call. This is a call for everybody, and especially for my fellow party members, UDP. Right now we have somebody that every Gambian is celebrating. Someone who we own him. We are the owner of Mayor Bensouda. We created Mayor Bensouda. Nobody ever know Mayor Bensouda. We created him. We own him. Now Gambians are telling us this is the man they want to lead them. History is telling us that this is the only person who can win Adam Barrow. He won Adam Barrow when Adam Barrow served as campaign manager and got a sitting minister. Right? He took them to bunkers. He won them big time with an entire government machinery, with the police, with everybody. He won them. The people of Cardiff municipality voted for him. So he has a history of winning Adam Barrow. He's the first Gambian to have that history. Win directly against Adam Barrow. Right? That is history. Evidence just recently told us that this is the man who has chance of winning against Adam Barrow. This is not any kind of evidence. This is an empirical evidence that is based on data that is defended and provided by data, by Gambians, right? So that goes to tell you that it's something here, you might kind of not agree with it, but you not need to learn from it. You need to re-strategize. You need to consider it when you are strategizing. And I saw some people that are saying, oh, it's only 1,000, it's only a sample of 1,500 people, and the Gambia has about 2 million. I don't know where those people went to school, or whether they have ever done practical research. But in research, there is what is called sampling. It does not matter the sample size. What matters is whether the sample is directly proportional with the population. There is no way that you can conduct a survey where you ask every Gambian a question. Even the election itself is not reflective of every Gambian, because not every Gambian vote. Some people have voters card, they don't even vote, right? So if a survey is done, they collect a sample, just because they took 1,550 respondents, you think that is small, then you need to go back to the books and read again. A sample does not actually need to be very, very big. Even professors will tell you it's not the size of your sample that matters, right? It's how your sample reflects your population. And this sample is perfectly correct because they have randomly selected from every local government area. You have seen from every constituent, they have representatives from there. And they took their motivation from the just ended census. And we know that census cover every Gambian. So that's where they took their motivation. So to come to the Gambians, and then you are arguing to say, oh, the sample is because it's 1,500, so that is not a pure representation of Gambians. So 1,500, this is the people they speak, and that's not Gambians. That is wrong research-wise. No researcher will tell you he have interviewed everybody. No. I have been a witness of people who done research and interviewed only 3 or 4 people, and this is qualitative research at highest levels, and they got distinction in one of the best universities in the world. So you cannot come and question a particular research just because the sample size is not big. And it's very sad to see people peddling those messages. Let that be clear. A sample size is important. What is more important is whether the sample is proportionate or whether the sample is a direct reflection of the population. Right? For example, if you are doing a sample in the Gambia, you collect even 100,000 people, and then you're reporting on election, you left the people in the rural area, that would be a wrong sample size, regardless of the number you have chosen. Right? Because it's not directly reflective of the different constituents in the country. But even if you take only 1,000 people, so long the 1,000 people that you took are from the different parts of the different constituents of the country, then you have met the required definition and threshold of proportionality, and that is what is important. So guys, I don't even want to be specific about some of these things, but I think those who really done practical research, theoretical research, those who have interacted with qualitative and quantitative research and study and really deal with interpretation and methodology will understand that a sample size does not actually need to be very big to be accurate. I need to repeat this. So this research is correct, it's on time, the methodology is intact. As far as I am concerned, I have a problem with the gender. If anybody have a problem with the gender, I agree, because the Gambia, we have we don't have a population of 70% men and 30% women. I agree. If anybody criticizes the research on the basis on gender in terms of proportionality, I agree with that. I think that's something that the surveyors could develop, they could try to work on next time. And that's a genuine critique. When I saw it, I said, well, this one is a genuine critique, right? Because, those things happen. But if you also do data cleaning, you understand that there are some things you only notice it if you receive the information, if you receive the data. And no matter how you clean them, you will not be able to remove some of those information unless you want to manipulate. right? At least they were very honest to represent it that way, even if there are other people who could say 50% men, 50% women. No, but they came to say it's 70% men and 30+% women. So that goes to tell you that they're honest about their data. So if you want to be critical about that, fine. But if you want to be critical about sample size, no, bro, that is something that definitely I've never read that anywhere in my research history. You know, if you said, Janko, you're saying the sample has to be reasonable, there's no perfect survey sample. Sample have limitations, and the size is, I have to read what you write for it, and the size is one of them. Yes, that's very true. The sample size, like I keep saying to you, is as important, but what is more important is proportionality. Nobody's going to argue about that. You can have the perfect sample size, but if it is not proportionate to the population, the sample size does not make any sense. Like I keep saying, I give an example and I'll give you again. If you, for example, are doing a survey in a country or doing a research of teachers in a country, if you get a sample of teachers and teachers are all over the country, the sample that you got is maybe 300 teachers. That's a huge number. But in that sample, it's only within the urban area. It's a huge sample size, but it actually does not make no sense because you left out certain constituents who might have different opinions about the questions you might ask. All right? So the sample size is important, but proportionality is even more urgent. So to say a particular sample size is small without questioning the proportionality, I think that is a big law of a standard. That's me. Someone can have a different opinion, but as far as I'm concerned, that's definitely not the case. So, yeah, I think the research is right. I'll go back to the politicians. This is something that they can wisely use. They can use in the right manner to make sure they, say and preach the message. Hopefully tomorrow, Mayor Bensouda will come back to the Local Government Service Commission, answer their questions. One thing is the mayor is not going to allow himself to be ridiculed. I think somebody has to tell the lead council that the mayor is there to respect everybody, to be humble as he is, but he's not going to allow anybody to ridicule him. He's not going to allow anybody to make fun of him. He's not going to allow anybody to try to take advantage of the situation to play games on him. He's there to answer the questions. He's there to give a testimony, and he will continue doing that. I thank all of you for joining the live, and now we'll have to struggle how to end this live because I've never seen. Let me check whether my phone is showing something different because I'm on my iPad. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much. I've seen finished here, and hopefully we will catch up tomorrow after the mayor's testimony if there is anything to clarify. I thank all of you for joining the live and see you all soon. Allah barakah tomorrow.